What's up, guys? Chad here. So Sprocketmonger, I opted to stay with my Eternal Barrier build. I want to say beforehand that I do not recommend that you do this because Eternal Barrier is definitely worse than Lenience here. You should always take that. The only reason I opted to take Eternal Barrier was because I like to experiment, and I think that the Eternal Barrier build allows you to do some strange things on this boss that you'll probably see in the video. Anyway, let's go into the video and let's watch it together. So, for my first ramp on this boss, I started my evangelism at 1 second on the combat time here. So I dotted the boss and went into my ramp. This let me hit the mines as fast as they went out. And that's kind of the main damage that I wanted to hit here. If your team is hitting the mines really hard, you can opt to ramp a little bit earlier and hit the Sonic Baboom a little bit more, the dot that he applies early in the fight. For this ramp, I go into another Mind Blast, and I don't send my Rad here until the Sonic Baboom hits. That way I can leverage the healing from the Radiance as well. And then I play like I usually do, as you've seen in my other videos, where I make use of Will and Woe almost entirely into my shields, very rarely into my smites outside of evangelism. And then here I'm consolidating some resources. I'm looking at my next ramp, which is going to be my Uppies ramp. I want to hit that into the mines coming up. So yeah, I'm just shielding, I'm doing my thing, I'm spot healing, I have a lot of mana to spend here. People that get the drills, they take more damage, so I try to make sure that they get some help. And anytime that I was red here, I would sometimes try and help soak the rockets using the Will and Woe shields I put on myself. Usually it wasn't necessary though, so... I haven't had the drills yet, so I usually go far out here if that hadn't happened, in case. Didn't get the drills, and we're chilling. Here, again, I consolidate resources, and I'm holding my rads, usually for the Sonic Baboom. You saw me overcap there, so I sent a rad. But for the Sonic Baboom coming up here into the tank hit, I always had 2 radiances sent into it. And then in the intermission, I just spot healed, and you'll see what I do there as we get to it. But double rad here. Send the Mind Blast, chilling. Will and Woe goes into shields like usual. If you're doing this boss, I do not recommend that you do what I did every once in a while, where I shield people that don't have Atonement. You should shield people that do have Atonement, because we want the Mastery amp on those shields. Now, in this intermission, what I do is very strange. Do not copy this unless you are exceedingly confident, but I watched as some of our ranged lost DPS in this intermission, hitting the traps or dodging them inefficiently, so I started using Will and Woe shields on myself to soak all of them, which just made it so that all the DPS in the middle never had to think about it. Again, I do not recommend that unless you are exceedingly confident that you can handle it. You should never risk prog for something like that. Here we have healer mines again, but we do Evange immediately. I start ramping immediately as I go out of the intermission. Again, the last like Will and Woe in that ramp goes into a shield. Here I carry this into another rad, because we have the Sonic Baboom go out right after my ramp kind of ends, so we carry that over into the rad. And now we're moving over here, and we're going back to playing the way I did in phase 1, where I'm trying to spot heal people that get drills. I'm trying to basically just cycle my radiances efficiently, make sure they're hitting into damage and not wasting their healing. Will and Woe shields, the usual. In this part as well, you can have situations where it's really tight. If you're like red here, for example, while you can, you shouldn't soak here with Will and Woe any rocket, because those rockets will take you into the beam and kill you. Let people with immunities deal with that for sure. Here you can see me just triaging, sending flash heals. Here I went out early with the drill, and the reason for that is because I didn't want to block people with the drills for when we move after this through to the star nipple side. So you'll see us have a clear path here as we move through. Again, nothing crazy happening here, just the same usual gameplay. You want to make sure you know where your radiances go still, though, of course. I knew where mine went, but It might change depending on how your guild executes this part of the fight. I sent it when I knew we needed the healing, or when we were struggling on healing, and I retroactively changed it to those spots. A little bit of a struggle there, but that's okay. This intermission, I play the exact same, and I exit the intermission the exact same as well, with a ramp right away. Lots of spot healing. Here, I'm not soaking any traps, as you can see. There are no traps, or I think rarely traps on this conveyor belt. It's only in the middle, so... but if I was in the middle, I probably would have soaked traps again. Again, do not recommend that. We get swapped polarity here. I got a bit confused with our positioning here, but that's okay. As you see, we finished the ramp here. Right after an intermission into the mines, while we still have the sonic baboom on us. Anytime you see the health bars move like you saw them here, and you see the health bars still be quite low after your first penance, do not weave with Wheel and Woe smites in between like I did here. In that scenario, it's better to be front-loaded and opt to spend 2 penances or 3 penances in a row instead. Pick the raid back up so you don't risk any lives, and then you can start weaving your smites if you need to. And after our Evange ramp, we are moving into an Uppies ramp, sending it into the Sonic Baboom. I looked at the boss health and predicted this was the last damage we would take. After this, you see me play really sloppy. I almost blow up a mine and grief the pull. Do not do that, you can play better. But yeah, that is Sprocketmonger. Another little helpful tip here is that you can shield people here that are doing the far mines. So people that get assigned to go to Skull, for example, when you're on Nipple or around that area, so diagonally across the entire platform, shielding those people is insanely strong. Make sure you listen to the calls, make sure you know who goes far usually. These guys need shields. Also, please make sure that you join my Discord if you haven't already. I offer free log reviews. I can also be contacted on Discord privately to discuss free coaching, which I do on my weekends. And also, please tune into my Twitch, where I do live commentary over my raid gameplay. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.